So I wonder, what does Jesus' resurrection mean for us today? Our God still works in lives today. And it's been great when we've had Bible studies where people have shared stories about miracles that have happened to them today, or people that they knew. Not actual resurrections often, but answers to prayer when people have prayed and people have miraculously got better in different ways. When we hear these things from people that we trust, it enhances our faith. If it's somebody that we know and that we trust, it enhances our faith and spurs us on to step out and pray for others so that things may change for them too. You are my witnesses to all things. He showed them, so Jesus through his resurrection showed them, and then he said to them in verse 44, "This is what I told you while I was still with you. Everything must be fulfilled that is written about me in the law of Moses and the prophets and the Psalms." You see, he told them not just once, but many times, but it didn't go in. It didn't kind of sink in. He told them lots of times, but it just didn't stay. Maybe it's the same for us though. I mean, how many times have you been to church and listened to services on particular subjects? Particularly, I mean, the Christmas story and the Easter story you've had many times. But how much do you remember of that? And also, how much more do you put into action some of those things that you've been told or thought about? Not just you, but me as well. How many times have I heard things and then not put them into action? It's after that they'd seen these things happen, the resurrection happen, that their minds were opened and they understood and they could get into action. In verse 45 it says, "Then he opened their minds so they could understand the scripture." And it says that on that kind of that journey, doesn't it? Where those two disciples are going and walking. Jesus opened their minds so they understood more. You are my witnesses to all these things. I believe that Jesus comes among us, sometimes not as the Jesus that we would recognise, but sometimes through other situations and other people. We are sometimes and often so absorbed in our structures and our expectations that we don't see him or hear him. But he's come alongside us. He talks to us and says things through other events that occur in our lives. And we should be open to listen to him. So I wonder how many times God's done that to you. He's spoken through people's other situations, but we've just not heard him. So, what do we need to do? I think one, we need to let others hear from others their encouraging tales of what's happened when God's had impact on their lives. So listen to testimonies about things that have happened, about what our amazing God has done. Number two, let us look out for Jesus in places that we don't always expect to see him. And number three, let's explore what resurrection means for us. Then we can understand, you are my witnesses in all these things. And a witness stands up and tells people. Will you do that? Will you go tell people? Thanks for listening and have a lovely week. God bless you. Amen.